Oh boy. Hey, good afternoon, everyone. It's Gary here. If you're new to my channel, welcome. If you're visiting back again, welcome back. Today's topic is going to be a little bit about used car salesmen, but that's like a metaphor because we're going to be talking about car mechanics and doctors, how they are so much alike. They're both used car salesmen. Let me start out by saying I got a late model Cadillac. I got a 2013 Cadillac, and it's classified as a luxury vehicle. I mean, I knew that before I bought it because it's the model I always wanted. I couldn't afford it when they were new, so I had to buy it used. I love the car. I just love the car. Anyways, was living in one part of the city when I bought it, and then I moved a little further out to another part of Cincinnati, and I was looking for new mechanics at the time, and this goes back. I've been here now almost 10 years. This goes back 8 or 9 years ago, and some neighbors around here say, well, this mechanic here on this road, look, he blah blah blah. We'll call him XYZ. I'm not going to use the name of the company. Yeah, XYZ company. He's really good. He's honest. It's a family-owned business. Yeah, they'll take good care of you. Well, so before I go into that mechanic, before I moved to this area of Cincinnati, my battery had died in the car. Now, those batteries for these newer cars are not cheap. So this particular model car, the battery was in the trunk, and the battery was a little bit over $200 for a brand new battery. But I had to bite the bullet. You need a battery to start the car, right? So now it's like a year, fast forward a year, and I'm in new surroundings, and I'm going to XYZ mechanic. I need an oil change. That's all I needed was an oil change. So I get there, and they take my car, and they get all my information. They want me to fill out a little application. Just fucking change the oil. But they wanted you to fill out an application, name, address, how long you've been living in this location you're in, contact information. Meanwhile, they're changing the oil in my car. And before the car's done, there's a specialist comes out of the office and sits down next to me. And he goes, well, we're finishing up on the oil change in your car, but we got a list of things here that the technician went over. He gave you it was a free, bumper-to-bumper inspection on your car. I'm thinking, here we go. Sell me more stuff, right? So he goes, you need this, you need this, and you need this. Oh, and by the way, we noticed that your battery is a little bit low. We're thinking about replacing that. We just want to get your signature here. And I said, wait a minute. I had it replaced last year. And he's like, I should talk to the technician about that. Maybe he's, I think he might have been mistaken. I said, well, yeah, he was just a little bit mistaken there, pal. So then he goes, the technician checked your transmission fluid, and that's getting dark. It looks kind of dark. He checked it, and you're down a quart. So if it's okay with you, we're going to put a quart in. I said, well, good luck trying. He didn't expect me to answer his questions. Well, see, I'm one of these people that read the owner's manual when I buy a car. I read it. Every car I've ever owned, I read the owner's manual. I want to know what's going on with this car. I'm just one of these geeks like that. I said, first of all, that 2013 model does not have a dipstick for the transmission. That's where you're wrong. That's where your technician's either lying to you or you're lying to me. So I'll just say the latter. Your technician doesn't know what he's talking about and he's lying to you and you're just telling me. So he can't check the transmission fluid with a dipstick. It's not like your oil. And secondly, you cannot just add a quart of transmission fluid. There's a little petcock on the top of it, kind of on the side of the top. It's got to be loosened, taken. The whole thing needs to be drained and replaced. There's no adding to it, buddy. And he's like, I should talk to the technician about this. Now I know what's going on. That's 2 in a row. That's 2 strikes. 2 strikes. And so I said to him, stop right there. I'm going to save you a lot of time. I know my car. All right. I have read my owner's manual. So whatever you're trying to sell me today, you could just save it. All due respect, sir, you can save it. I'll just pay you the $100+ what's going to cost like $110 for an oil change. Because I use a synthetic oil, so it's a little bit more expensive because it's a high-performance car. Why, I don't know. I mean, I don't go fast in it. I just cruise around in it. But anyway, I said, let me just pay for the oil change and I'll be on my way. That was the first and the last time I went to that mechanic. And the only reason I went to that mechanic was because the warranty on my Cadillac was up. And I needed to find a mechanic. Excuse me. So I didn't go there ever again. I went through, when I lived out in the east side, actually the northeast part of the city was where I moved to. I went through 3 mechanics before I found one that was bona fide. They're always trying to sell you something. They're always trying to sell you something you don't need. So in the future, this goes out for everybody watching this program. If you haven't read your owner's manual, just go over it. Look at the brakes. Look at the miles you need on it before you get an oil change. Look at the air pressure, what you need in the air pressure. Look at the particulars. And if something goes wrong with it, before you take it in, read that part of the owner's manual so you don't get bent over in the mechanic. Because the mechanics, they're going to do the work, but they want to sell you extra stuff. The more shit they sell you, the more money they make, right? There's no honest mechanics out there. You might get 1 or 2, and that goes for dealerships too. When my car was under warranty, the bona fide, honest one I found was family owned, but it was a little further away from me. But I don't even care. I go to them now. They have a shuttle service too. They take me home. They pick me up and they take me home. That's a great service to have if you're a business. Anyway, when they got that thing up on the lift, they found 3 or 4 things in there that the Cadillac dealership, when it was under warranty, replaced. One was a tie rod, and one was a control arm in the front. Both were Chevrolet parts. That's why they went bad again. See, although Cadillac is made by Chevrolet, it's also because it's a Chevrolet really, but it's a Cadillac. The parts on those cars are different. They're tooled different for the Cadillacs. So it's like you can't put a Chevy part on. Will the Chevy part fit? Yes. Will it wear like it should? No, because it needs a Cadillac part. So they fucked up. The Cadillac dealership, they screwed up on purpose. Just to save some money. That's what they were doing. They hosed me. So which brings me to my next subject of the other type of used car salesman is your PCP, your primary care physician. Now, I've always had one primary care physician. I've had him since 1985 when he was an intern, right up until about 2 years ago when he retired. He was great. He was old school. 2 years older than me. He was an old school doctor. He was a realist. He didn't try to sell me a boatload of shit I didn't need. He gave me the nuts and bolts of a physical. Hey, Gary, you look fine. Try to lose a few pounds. You're a little bit overweight. Knock off the beer or don't eat that frozen pizza. You know how it goes, Gary, Hey, your blood pressure's a little high, but that's nothing to worry about. And just work on, just doing a little exercise. This is how he talked to me. Just do a little exercise, try to eat more celery and apples and oranges. Try to eat more fruit. And just, knock off the sweets and the ice cream. Try to get it under control. And you'll be all right. You'll be right as rain in about a month. I'll see you in 6 months for your next physical. Out the door I went. He never read anything off the screen of all the updates you have to have forever. I mean, they treat you like you're they treat you like you're a machine. Oh, they got a little screen here, and they say, well, you got to get this checked, you got to get this checked, you got this checked. That's how the doctors today are. But he wasn't like that. He looked at me face to face. So you need to do this, you need to do that, and oh yeah, and by the way, how's your parents doing? How are they doing? Just an old school guy. He was a great doctor, highly respected in his community. And when he retired, people wept. They were like, oh my God. I wish I could say his name on here. I'm not going to do it. He may not be watching this. He probably won't. But if he ever was, I wouldn't want to throw it out there. Because now he's retired. See, I don't want people bugging him. But he likes the horses. He likes the ponies like me. So I see him every year down at the Kentucky Derby. I usually run into him down there. Anyway. So, which brings me to present day. And now I got a new one. when he retired, I had to get a new one. And who did they give me? They gave me a list of 3 people. They were all females. Nothing against females. I think female doctors are more thorough than male doctors, quite frankly. But so they gave me a list and I just threw a dart. Boom. Got one. Went to see her. I went to see her last year for the first time and last time. Get in there. Now, let me backpedal. I take my blood pressure every single morning. I got a blood pressure cuff and an electronic monitor, and I take my blood pressure. I've been doing it for a few years now. And I monitor my blood pressure. That's a great indicator of how well I'm doing physically. And so so when going into a yearly physical, I take a picture of my morning BP. So in this case, I went to see her for my first time meeting her and my physical. And she takes my BP and it's elevated. She goes, your blood pressure is a little elevated, Gary. Do you have a problem with high blood pressure? Do you have high blood pressure in your family? Well, it's right there on your computer, my family history. Oh, I'm asking you though. No, we don't have high blood pressure in my family. Well, it's elevated. And so I pull my phone out and I show her, here you go. This is my blood pressure this morning. I monitor it every day. Oh, okay. Well, it's really good. That's really good. But now you're here. Well, taking the fact I had to climb 15,000 steps to get to the elevator to get up to the 5th floor to see you, my heart is racing a little bit. You ever factor that in? So you gotta call bullshit when you see it, right? So doctors per se are a lot like mechanics. They're used car salesmen. They're gonna make a certain amount of money. She's working for a hospital, a big organization. They sign her check for her. Those private care doctors and their own little businesses, or those days are old. They don't do that anymore. They got to work for a big corporation, which would be a hospital. Her job is to sell me stuff. Well, your blood pressure, maybe we should put you on blood pressure medications. No, we're not doing that. Next. And then so I had blood work done 3 days prior instead of waiting to have it done there and then had them call me later. So I always have my blood work done so they can discuss my blood during my physical. And she's looking at my blood work and she's going, well, you're borderline diabetic. And so maybe you got to keep an eye on that. And I said, can you explain that to me? And I catch her off guard. She's, well, it just says here. So I know what you're reading, what you think it says. But I'm not overweight. As a matter of fact, I'm underweight for my height and my age. I don't eat garbage. I don't drink alcohol. I don't abuse my body. Yeah, can I get in better shape? Sure, but I try to exercise daily. I try to eat my fruits and vegetables daily. And I said, I came armed. I said, 40% of Americans are pre-diabetic, but never get full-blown diabetes. And she goes, you're right. How'd you know that? I said, well, I do my reading. It's just like going to a mechanic. It's just like going to a car mechanic. You read a little bit about your car before you go in. In this case, I read a little bit about my health. And then I went in, calling her out. Well, okay, I'll just keep an eye on it because, people, we're seeing a rise in diabetes. Now, I didn't go into the depths of going to the pharmaceutical industry because the pharmaceutical industries, they're as dirty and crooked as the rest of them. And what they do, they come up with all these new types of pills and shots and formulas and things like that to treat diabetes. And so what happens? Think about it. I'll tell you what happens. And I'm not an expert on this. This is my ballpark guess as a former meat cutter. The pharmaceutical industry is massively a massive industry. They make billions and billions and billions of dollars on our backs. They go to the hospitals and they say, okay, these are what we're seeing. These are the markers we're seeing. But we have new medication for diabetes. So start pushing diabetes. Start pushing it on your patients. So all the doctors, all the primary care physicians, coast to coast. Oh, you might be pre-diabetic. And if they say that to 100 people a month, I would say 70 to 75% will believe them because they're not armed with knowledge. They're in there for their physical. So they go in there kind of relaxed, just going to get their blood work. They just want to check their heart rate. They want to listen to their heart. They hear cough, turn to the left cough, turn to the right cough, check you, slap you on the ass, and you're out. Hey, have a good day. I'll see you in 6 months. No, those days are over. They're trying to sell you shit. Well, we got this new medication for diabetes, and you're pre-diabetic right here on the chart. According to your blood work could be off like 1/100%. Meaning the chance of you getting diabetes are 100 to 1, but they got to mention it. They want to mention it. Oh, they'll sell you a low dose of this new stuff, but they're going to sell it to you, and you're going to take it for no reason. Now, granted, most people's insurance companies are going to pick up this expense of this new diabetic drug. Well, you're not diabetic, but they got to sell it. If they sell it, they're making money. And the more money they make, the more money the pharmaceutical industry makes, and it's job security for that doctor. See how that goes? See where that's going? Let me backpedal a little bit. I wasn't going to go there, but I got to go there on this one. Right around COVID. Now, I don't do vaccines. I've never done vaccines. I'm one of these anti-vaxxers. I've been like that my whole life. I think I stopped taking my flu shots when I was 16 years old. I still don't feel like I need them. I think the human body is smart enough and an incredible machine that'll ward off anything. We have an immune system. We were born with an immune system. When you get sick, when you get the flu, you're supposed to feel like crap for a while. That's your body fighting it off. That's just the structure of your body, your cells, everything, your immune system is fighting it off. That's why you feel like crap for a week. But it's good. It's build your immune system. So I stopped taking the flu shots when I was 16 years old. Don't go near them anymore. None. No shots. None. And so my doctor, the old school doctor I had, right around COVID, it was actually in the midst of COVID. It was like the first year in. I went to that hospital. Everyone had to wear a damn mask. I always wore mine below my nose. Masks, they didn't work. They just don't fucking work. I'm sorry, but anyway, that's just me. But he said to me, and this is the old school doctor that I just love this guy, right? He goes, so at the end of our physical, he goes, Gary, have you had your COVID shot? I said, no, doc, I'm not going to do it. And he goes, okay. And that was it. But I believe that around that time, because he knew I didn't do vaccines. He knew it. He's known me my whole life. He knew, but he had to ask because he was told to ask. Why? Because the doctors get more patients to get the COVID vaccine than the hospitals make more money from who? The pharmaceutical industries that put this bullshit out. That's all I'm going to say about it. I wasn't going to talk about COVID today, and I'm not going to, but I'm just using this as an example, a platform, if you will. So doctors get paid for doing tests. So you got to go downstairs. So you got to go downstairs and do a stress test, blah, blah, blah. That happened to me a few years ago because I was having heart palpitations. Well, what happens? Heart palpitations, I had to read about them after the fact. They're common. They're common in people. It's just your body is reacting to something you ate. Or maybe you exercised too hard and you weren't ready to exercise. You start getting palpitations. So I was getting freaked out a little bit, went to see a doctor. I went to one of these 24-hour clinics. I was freaking out. Thought I was having a heart attack. They sent me to the local hospital, said, you got to do a stress test. We're going to check everything out. Like $1,200 later, out of pocket for me, because my insurance picked up most of it, but $1,200 out of my pocket to prove that nothing was wrong. That it was normal. Stress tester are common, especially if you're working out or running or overexerting yourself, and your heart starts racing. Try sitting down at the couch all day. Like for instance, it's a good example. People sit on the couch potatoes they call them, and they get up and they walk across the room. They go down there. Maybe their washer and dryer is downstairs, and they go downstairs and they walk up the steps. They're like. And their heart's racing. It's because they sit on the couch all day. Nothing wrong with them. They're not going to die. It's just their heart's working. If it doesn't used to work, it's not working. So it's working. It's finally your heart's going that fast. And it calms right back down after you sit your fat ass back down on the couch and put it on the Lifetime channel. I know I ranted today, but I do that well. I rant a lot, as you all know. But yeah, used car salesmen are mechanics. They're mechanics. They're doctors. Who else? Oh, another one with like heating and HVAC guy that came out and I said I need my furnace cleaned. This was last year, a brand new company. Because again, the company I had before, they only worked on that side of town. Unusual because most companies will work anywhere. Anyway, I got a new company. They came out and said, I just want my furnace cleaned. I don't know how long this furnace has been here. So I bought the house when the furnace was here. And they got in there, cleaned it, and they said, oh, by the way, you need this condenser and that condenser, and you're going to need this sending valve, and you're going to need that sending valve. And I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. I don't want any of that. I want the ABCs of the cleaning. I appreciate the cleaning. What do we owe you? Oh, but you need this sending valve, and you need this condenser, and you need this, and you need that. Well, okay, all right. Well, when the thing stops working, I'll give you a call. But right now, I just want to pay for the furnace clean. Shut them right down. Don't buy stuff you don't need. I don't go to the hardware store. If I go to the hardware store to buy a power drill, I don't go walk out with a circular saw and a table saw. No, they're going to try to sell you that shit. Just buy what you need. Same with the doctor. Same with the mechanic. Same with the HVAC guy. Especially in this day's economy. I don't know. Now that I'm retired, I'm watching my pennies. But I always watch my pennies anyway. I'm not a miser. You know, I'm far from a miser. I'll spend money when I need to. If I want to. But yeah, used car salesmen. They're everywhere. Trying to sell you shit you don't need. All right, that's all I got. This will probably be my last one before the new year. And I'll catch up to you guys in 2026. God, it's going by quick. Isn't it great? The older you get, the more fun it becomes. That's my personal experience. I've been retired 6 months and I'm loving it. Okay, just loving it. All right, you guys all have a fantastic night. Take care of yourselves and each other. Peace out.